began with my daughter's asthma. She's been hospitalized a number of times on days when the Bay Area Air Quality Management District uh, puts out warnings for particulate counts in the air. And then we found on the American Lung Association's website that the three worst areas for air quality were Los Gatos, Orinda, and Livermore, because they're all in valleys. And so we started looking around for areas that had good air quality. We were coming back and we saw this lot, and it was south facing and had the two oak trees on it. And so we said, okay, why don't we buy the lot and think about putting up a energy efficient recycled material home over here. And so we called David and asked him to look at designing a house here that would fit my daughter's asthma.
Yeah, I believe we first met at a tour, sustainable home tour of the Palter residence, which was a remodel in San Mateo, just north of here, and taking a traditional ranch-style house and doing an eco-renovation to turn it into a green building that is far more energy efficient than it was when it was first designed. Lots of daylight in it and things like that. And those were among the goals that Gladwin and Martina had for their home. So we, were able to incorporate that and a whole lot more on this site, it being, ground up new construction. Well, I'm in partnership with my wife, Annie Tilt, and together we sat down with them and gathered information about what their needs were. Again, their daughter's health being a high priority.
We were concerned about the sort of the interior environment. We wanted to be as allergy-free as possible. So we were concerned about the materials that went into the interior. And David suggested a whole bunch of things, including the concrete floors and the concrete countertops and the concrete walls. And there were some other things like rice paper for the walls.
Trex is a type of decking that's made from plastic bags and sawdust and other ground up bits of whatnot. Nice substitute for redwood as a decking material. These are some countertop materials made from sunflower seeds and wheat. This is the insulation material that's used in the D'Souza home. This is fiberglass, which is the insulation material that's most used in American homes. If Bruce Thomas were here, he would put a penny on each of these and then take a blowtorch and actually light the fiberglass on fire, but be able to melt the penny on the recycled newspaper sprayed cellulose insulation to prove that it's flame safe. The countertop behind us here is made out of recycled glass. A company in Berkeley called Counter Productions, and they take curbside collected glass bottles, break them up, and use the glass as part of the aggregate in a concrete-like countertop.
I grew up in Pune, India, but I used to go for vacations to a place called Goa. Goa is sort of the culture of the coconut tree. Almost everything within the town revolves around the coconut tree. So the houses are built with the beams of the tree, and these beams, for one, are like we had our houses were built this way. We had big windows, big doors, and David designed some windows upstairs that looked like the ones we had in Goa.
And then Martina is from Mexico City, and so we also studied traditional and modern Mexican architecture and sort of tried to bring all of those influences together here in a harmonious way that in some ways also speaks to the Bay Area tradition of housing. And I think some of Bernard Maybeck's work is similar. The feeling of the space is the use of light to what we've done here. Interesting describing how in Goa they build out of coconuts. Here we've built out of many ways the detritus of the Bay Area. We've got a lot of salvaged wood, salvaged doors and windows that came out of buildings that have been dismantled. We have two solar energy systems, active systems. One is the solar hot water. These are the 5 panels that collect the sun's heat energy and heat water. That liquid then used to heat domestic hot water and provide the space heating throughout the house. In this far corner of the garage is the mechanical room, somewhat separate from the other spaces, and it's in this zone that all of the solar heating equipment, the pumps that recirculate the fluid up to the solar panels. This piece of equipment is the inverter, and this takes the DC power from the photovoltaic panels and inverts it into AC, alternating current, which is the regular house current. You can see a standard globe meter measuring how much electricity they're actually generating. And again, that goes directly into the grid. On a sunny day, their electric meter is actually running backwards because they're making more electricity than they're using. And then at night, sun goes down, they may have some lights on and whatnot, the utility meter then runs forward. But the real savings is, of course, you don't have an electricity bill throughout most of the year. I think the things that Gladwin and Martina chose long before we got involved are the real reasons why this is the home of the future. The fact that it's in an urban area, that it has good access to transit, that there they can live a lifestyle where they can walk down to the farmer's market or ride their bicycle to work and school. You know, those are the things that I see as our future. And then, of course, buildings have the opportunity to meet this goal of heating and cooling themselves and generating their own electricity. And there's actually quite a bit of security in having distributed generation of electricity. If every house and building had solar panels creating electricity on its rooftop, we would be less susceptible to blackouts or, you know, having a massive blackout due to a failure of a power plant or something like that. So I do see that in that way this is pointing to our future.